Hey everybody, Scorpion here. So I want to kind of run through computer power supplies with you just to give you I guess two options of max value. So it depends upon you as a person as to what you consider max value. Is max value based off of your time, or do you have all the free time in the world and you want to make the absolute most money no matter how much long it takes you to get there? So that's the two options with these, and deciding which direction you want to go. And I'm going to try to show you both, but I'm not going to actually do a complete teardown for the second one. That's been done before. I think Shark Scrapper did a complete teardown on a power supply and made a video on it. And Geek Scrapper or Geek Shark Geek, whatever, I don't remember. Anyway, he did the actual calculations for the math on amount of time it took compared to how much extra he made. Now, if you're doing other things with some of the components that are in there, it might be worth taking it down. We do other, here we go again. We do other things with some of the components, but again, power supplies, it's just really not worth my time. I took one apart, or opened one up and took it to a scrap yard and asked him if he'd give me aluminum breakage for him, and he said yes. His philosophy is they're gonna run it through a shredder anyway, so they're gonna get all the copper and everything else out of it, so he's good with that. So if you don't have a scrap yard that will take them that way, you may want to open one up, talk to the owner and say, look, this is what's in them. Will you give me aluminum breakage price instead of shred price for them? And go from there. So always important, take those few minutes, talk to your guys at the scrap yard and that kind of thing. So y'all stick around and I'm going to show you the two different ways to do this.
Rock bottle on the track, boy.
Alright, so I've got two of them here, so we'll just kind of go through these real quick. So what I do with them, and some scrap yards have a computer power supply category, so always check that first. Aluminum breakage would be second in line, but normally, and they've got cutters that you can just do this one cut and be done. I just go right here, cut all the wire off. I'll cut the ends off of it. Some of the power supplies have ends that have gold ends in them, so I'll cut all the ends off, throw this wire at 55%. There are some scrap yards that you do not have to cut the ends off of, so again, you need to know your scrap yard, know the difference in prices, decide if this is worth it or that's worth it, or everybody scraps differently. Some people just don't like to do something, so they don't. Some people want max value. Some people are more worried about their time. So that makes for everything to be different for each individual person. And also, I mean, some of it has to do with your scrap yard, what they will allow, what they won't allow. Some want it 100% perfectly clean. Some don't care if there's a few zip ties on there. So there's a lot of factors in here, and that's one reason for watching multiple of us, and learning from multiple of us, because it all depends upon what your scrap yard wants and what you feel is or is not appropriate for you. So as you can see, it's a pretty decent amount of wire. Didn't take but a minute. Cut it off, trim it up, throw it in 55% and let it roll. All this right here, none of these have gold ends, so I just throw it into shred and keep going from there. So that's your first option with the power supply. Of course, you might could steal this fan off of there and throw the fan in them small motors. That might be a step you wanted to take if the fan's on the outside and easily accessible that way. So then and I said there's 2 options. There's 3. Some people just toss them straight into the shred and don't worry about it. You get your 6, 7, 8 cents a pound for it, as opposed to 18, 19, 20, 21, depending upon what your aluminum breakage price is in your area. So again, cut your wire off of it. Now, when I was talking about the gold ends, these right here, the pins are coated in gold. So there's different options with these, but this one, and this one are going to be it for gold. The rest of them would be shred. Not sure how well you can see this, but hopefully you can see the gold inside. And it's just plated. So some people recover this gold themselves. Some people don't worry about it. Some people will throw it into shred with everything else. And then some people will send these to board sort. It used to be 25 cents a pound for these. Price may have changed, I'm not sure. And then some people may send it to a refiner. So there's different options with the gold ends. You have to see what fits you. I do not recommend recovering it yourself, just for the sole purpose that it's not a real safe thing to do. If you don't know what you're doing, you could hurt yourself. That, and there is some restrictions and stuff like that, depending upon where you live, as to what you can get and how you would have to recover it. If you have a gold refiner that'll take them, he's probably going to want you to cut it down, you know, about right here. Possibly pull the plastic off and just send them the pins. Takes a lot to get a little bit, just like everything else in the world. So that's a little bit of a different option for these, depending on what you want to do. Me, I just send them, I've got a big old thing that I send them to board sort in, and keep rolling on. So we're going to open this power supply up so y'all can see what's on the inside and see what your options are for these. So pretty much the one, not all, but one of the scrap yards I deal with will give me aluminum breakage for this. As it sits, just like it is. And personally, I think it's not a bad deal. So I'm happy with it, and that's normally what I do with them. Oh look, I may have a power supply that doesn't want to open. So yeah, you got throw it in shred, talk to your scrapyard, see if you can get aluminum breakage for it, or if they have a power supply category. Or open it up and take the goodies out yourself. Alright, so you're going to have some shred from it. And this is inside of your power supply. Let's see if I can, go on, little dude. See if I can break this down a little bit more. And of course, you know, drill makes it better. So if you open it up, there's normally a lot more, I say a lot, but there's more wire you can get. So we'll start with this piece right here. You've got a little bit of wire here. You do have this switch here. It may have some silver in it. I don't go after them. These pieces are brass. If that's something you want to rip out, that's up to you. You do have a fan here. You can cut that fan out, break the things off, throw that into your small motors bucket, and then the rest is going to be shred. Then for this, as you can see, there's a bunch of wires. So this is where it come outside and we cut them off. So you can come in here and cut all these off at the board and get you that much more wire. Pretty sure I said at the beginning I wasn't going to do all this. So if you value your time, this is just not worth it. The amount of time it's going to take you to make that extra 20-30 cent or dollar. And if I can find Shark Scrapper's video on this, I will I'll link it so you can watch his what he does and his breakdown of time versus, you know, your income. So I've got some of it off. I'll cut the rest off in a minute since it's open. You do have an IC chip on here that you can recover gold from or sell, but again, it takes a lot to make a pound to sell it. You've got lots of wire wrapped items that you can pull off. You've got 2 aluminum heat sinks. This is going to be extruded. This one's probably going to be sheet. Sheet aluminum pays absolutely nothing. You have got 2 transformers here in the middle that can go into motors, or you can pull the copper off, whichever makes you happy. You've got some more stuff in here. You've got a couple of MOSFETs you can steal. They have silver and copper in them. You've got more rolls of copper over here. So there is quite a bit in here. And there is another IC chip over here on this side and another MOSFET. But the amount of time it takes you to take this apart and get it to that point, it's just really not worth the aggravation, the time. If you're scrapping at home and you're not trying to turn a huge profit for your time, then yeah, go after it by all means. You know, take that time, sit down, you know, put your TV on right there at your little workstation, watch you some TV while you clip some wires and pull a couple little things off here and there, and get that max value out of it. That's my opinion. You know, so there's your extra wire that you can get off of there. So nice little handful. Copper coils. They're not normally hard to get off. Most people take them and throw them into the small motors bucket. Again, if you're going after the max value, you're probably going to take that copper wire off of there. That's probably going to be number 2. Not quite big enough for number 1. Now, I'm not even using the right tool to be doing this, but just grab them, rip them off, however. You do have a couple of these. That'll probably make number one. But as you can see, you're going to invest a little bit of time doing this. If you use some big channel locks, it's a lot easier. Gives you more leverage, break this stuff off easier. Now this, you can see there's two different color wires on here. You've got copper, and the redder one is going to be a coating on there that make it look kind of like that. But it's going to be aluminum, 9 times out of 10. So, you can throw it into your copper motor bucket, your small motors, or you can take the wire off and separate it out. I think a lot of people throw the aluminum into sheet, the aluminum wire, and then you have some number 2 copper. Again, just depending upon what you want to do. That's the nice thing about this. Nobody does it the same way. We all learn from each other. One person prefers this, one person prefers that. Sometimes you see one of your buddies on here, and they show you something that you didn't realize, and you get to learn from them, and they learn from you, and so on and so forth. So you've got these. That'll probably pass as number 1 copper if you take it off of there. Again, it's not a whole lot of it, but it does add up over time. Or you can just throw it in the motors. I've got another one right here I can grab. I've got the transformers here I'm gonna pull off, and I've got the 2 IC chips I'm gonna pull off, and of course I'm gonna pull the aluminum off and get all those MOSFETs. So again, up to you, you know, what type of time you want to do. Some people will take these as aluminum breakage. They're capacitors. They're really nothing but thin aluminum wrapped. They store energy to discharge when other things turn on that need more amps and power to get started. Keep from burning your wires up and stuff. That's something to check with your yard for. But you can see what I spend like 10 minutes doing that, and it's really not worth the time. And I still got about 5 more copper things to pull off, and about 6 or 7 MOSFETs, 2 chips, and 2 transformers, and 2 aluminum heat sinks. And so you're looking to spend 20-30 minutes on each one just getting everything off of it, and it's not worth the time to me. Absolutely not worth the time. Now if you come in here and you just grab 2 or 3 little things real quick, grab the transformers, grab a couple of the big, you know, toroids, and then throw the rest in an aluminum breakage, okay. But then you've lost your you know, some of your weight for the aluminum breakage price, along with the steel case that's on the outside that adds some of the weight. So do what makes you happy. As everybody says, you do you. We all do it differently. So depending on what you want, what yards you have around you, and all that, that's how you determine how you're going to do it, or what you want to do with it, and what's important to you. I do normally, I know my yard doesn't really care, but I normally do pull or cut these off. I don't have the right tool with me, but whatever. Just because it just seems like the right thing to do. I'm not trying to get paid for plastic. I'm trying to do stuff honest and not throw, you know, BS in something else just to make a penny. And my yard knows that, and they also know that I'm gonna bring in a huge amount when I bring it in. a few 100 pounds to 1,000 pounds, and they're gonna bump my price up for that and pay me more because they want that. So make your decisions, watch everybody. So yeah, make your decisions and watch everybody's videos, see how everybody else does it. We all do things a little different, and we all enjoy doing different things. So that has a little bit of play in it as well. So I hope this is informative to y'all, and we'll see y'all next time.